All right. Well, hi, everyone. Again, for the fourth time. Hi. And welcome to our January Office Hours Pia New Year Update Edition. We're excited to kick off 2026 with some fresh insights and powerful tools to help you work smarter, not harder. As always, I'm Alyssa Castro, and I'll be moderating today's discussion. And joining me are two experts who will guide us through the updates. We've got Josh Norman, Partner Success Manager, and Chad Ramsey, product specialist.
Everyone.
Y'all may have seen these guys in some of your meetings before, and now they're here. All right, so what are we covering in the next hour? We're going to do a walkthrough of our new long-awaited automation hub, how it can simplify processes like never before and give you some extra resources and capabilities. We'll be doing a demo of a couple things in there, so stay tuned. We'll be talking through our enhanced onboarding experience for partners. We're setting the stage for long-term success. We want to talk about it. So any new or potentially new partners will get a kick out of that one. And then we'll do a sneak peek at the Pia and Thread integration, what's coming, and how will it impact your service desk workflows should you be a joint Pia and Thread partner. And then finally, we'll wrap up with a general live Q&A session so you can get your answers to your toughest questions. A couple of housekeeping items. We're going to run about 60 minutes with time for open discussion and general Q&A at the end, as I mentioned. You can use the chat for comments and reactions and the Q&A section for any questions that you may have, trying to organize it in that way. You can post publicly or privately in the chat at any time that you'd like. I'll be ensuring that we're hitting any question that you have that you submit in Q&A at the appropriate time, so I'll be moderating those. And then lastly, please stay tuned for the short post-session survey. As I always say, this feedback shapes future office hours. And if you've been watching us since our first session in August, you'll see that it quite literally has. All right, before we dive in, let's start with a quick poll to learn what you'd most like to see in today's Automation Hub demo. I'm going to launch that right now for you. The question is, what would you like to see us demo via our automation hub? You have four options there in front of you. So as you submit your votes for that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first up is our automation hub. So Chad, let's start at the top. What exactly is the automation hub and how does it fit into Pia's vision for partners?
So the Automation Hub, it was our approach to provide custom automation for our partner base. We understand that our out-of-the-box solutions are fantastic, but sometimes it's not a one-size-fits-all, right? And you do need to add some customization to it. But we don't want you to loop in and have to spend millions of dollars on a single person to manage all that for you. We want to make it as simple as possible. So we created an Automation Hub where right now we have about 25 automations that we've built and we support all of those. So you can quickly, easily go download those, apply them to where you need to, and you can start running them immediately once you get them set in there. You can still copy into a sandbox environment and customize it if you like as well, but it allows those of us that are not technical or don't have the time even to develop our own custom automations. You can access the Automation Hub, follow the on-screen prompts to get them set up, and then you can run off and run it right away. And I'll show you how that works.
Nice. Cool. That's exciting. So, it's a little self-explanatory, but Josh, give us some more insight. Why should partners care about this update? What's the biggest impact that they're going to notice first?
I would say the biggest impact is going to be the instant time to value. As Chad has kind of already described to some degree, it allows our partners to easily discover, download, and deploy automations in ways that we've not been able to do before. In each of these packs or each of these solutions, they're shaped from insights from other MSPs, partners, and vendors across the ecosystem. So it's just, again, it's an easy way to get that assistance through those automations with minimal amount of effort on your end. It's click to go. It's kind of the feeling that it provides to our partners.
Really is.
So I'd say the instant time to value for sure.
Yeah. What would you say in your words, Josh, and or you as well, Chad? What drove us to create the automation hub?
I mean,
So
frankly, we get a lot of requests for custom automations. So we figured why not have a repository to allow our partner base be able to access it themselves, self-manage it. We try to make things as easy as possible. We are a hyper automation solution, so we want to apply that as well to our own internal processes and allow you guys to do that as well.
Yeah, I'd say to follow up with Chad on that, it's absolutely partner feedback and industry trends. Yeah, this is the natural evolution of where Pia had to go, it feels like, and it's very exciting to be able to present this.
Nice. Well, speaking of presenting it, Chad, are you ready to walk us through some of the types of automations we have available today?
I am.
All
Looks
right.
like
I'm going to go
looks
ahead and, yeah.
OneDrive is the popular one there.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me grab my screen here. Can you guys see my screen all right? Let me
One second.
move this thing out of the way here.
Yes.
All
All
right, we
right.
got it.
Okay, perfect. So, this is now released to just about everybody. So you should have it here on the left-hand side. It's very straightforward. You can see, what you've downloaded, what's available here. Quick way to find what you need is to click the start browsing. Again, we have 25 here. We're going to be adding more as we develop more, and eventually we'd like to open it up to the partner base, and go from there so we can have a really huge repository of things that will help you guys automate what you need to and apply them where needed. So looks like the archive OneDrive data is the popular one. So I'm going to go ahead and search for that. And it's very, very simple here. So this is going to give you an overview of what it is. It's going to have tags to indicate that this is an extension automation and is part of user management. So we're going to click the install button, and it's going to tell us this pack includes the content listed below. So this is the extension automation that it's going to get created and applied to the automation to the offboarding package. So we'll click save here. And if you want, you can get a description of what it does, the instructions on how to set it up and what the flow is. So you can have that data and look back to see what it actually does. But as far as setup wise, very straightforward, very, very easy. You're going to follow the steps here on the right. We already have it installed, so we're good to go there. We'll click the configure button and choose which clients we want to apply this to. So I'm going to apply it to our cloud hybrid demo client, click save. And now we need to configure the extension points. So this is the point where you're going to choose when this is going to happen and which packages it's going to extend to. So right now it's already preset for the cloud hybrid, cloud only, and semi-hybrid offboarding packages. Now, then it goes down to, so when these packages run and the PS staff boarding hybrid reaches a certain point, so you can say at the end of the package, prior to the user termination, or at the beginning of the package execution. So it's really going to be dependent upon what your process is and when you want to archive that data, whether it's before the user's actually terminated or at the end. It's entirely up to you, and you can make those changes. I'll leave it here at the end of the package and show you what it looks like, because once we click save and close here, we're going to get this set to go, and now we can click install Pia pack, and we'll get a pop-up here, and we can now immediately start running with this and see what it looks like. So I'm going to click close here. I've got a ticket ready. So I'm going to run the offboarding and show you what this looks like. I know the reason why we have 27 out of 36 votes is because was highly, highly, highly requested from the day I started at Pia up until now, and now it is available for everybody. It's just one of those things that it's just something that people need to get when you opt for it. So I'm just going to choose a user here. I think I have myself somewhere. Maybe not. Uh, I'll choose Adam Johnson, and we'll choose the reason. It doesn't matter here. We're just going to go ahead and click now. Now I am going to expect this to not fully complete because these are test users that don't actually have a OneDrive, but it's going to complete it, and it's still going to complete it, but it's going to say there's not a OneDrive link available. But the process is going to be the same as far as your offboarding. You're still going to go through your normal flow. So depending on where you selected that extension point is where it's going to pop up and ask you what you want to do with that OneDrive. So if you had done it at the beginning, it would have asked me at the beginning, but I have it set to do at the end of the package. So again, we'll select our RU, we'll speed through this for you. We won't do the out of office message. So now here's where normally the offboarding ends. Pia is going to handle everything and then offboard and then sync it over to 365. So now it's going to go ahead and do that, and then it's going to prompt me and ask me what I'd like to do with that OneDrive. It's going to ask me if I'd like to migrate all the information to a specific user or give users access to that OneDrive link. So I have a couple options there depending on whatever the needs are for your particular client. Just got to wait for that to disable. Any questions so far? No. All right, so here we go. So we wrote the user signed session. So this is, it says it's going to take 60 minutes. It's not. We're not going to be here the whole time while waiting for that. That would be a very quick webinar, wouldn't it?
Mm.
So now it's going to do the sync, and it's totally fine. This was actually a mailbox user, so this should be much faster than normal. And then we'll get the option. It'll just be a selection that we'll be able to do here. And then what was the second one? So it's pretty unanimous here. Is every unified as far as the other packages there?
Let's see the others. Thank you, Chad. And we do have a question.
Yeah.
I know that for those partners who have Automation Hub live, that it's only able to be accessed by super admins. Is that still the case?
Uh, it's not, well, by default, yes, but
Okay.
you can delegate that access outside of super admin. Under the permission section, there'll be an option to manage Automation Hub, and you should be able to give that option to do that. Same way as far as like manage AI triage and smart forms as well. So here we go. So do you want to manage the user's OneDrive? Absolutely. So we click yes here, and then it's going to ask me what I'd like to do. So I can grant other users access, or I can migrate to terminated users. So regardless, we could choose either one, and we'll click go. And just like that, we quickly install this pack. Now I can go ahead and select all the users if I want to. So I could add the whole entire organization if I want to. Click go. We've quickly installed the new custom automation, applied it. And this was expected because we don't actually have a OneDrive link. So it's totally fine. But we've installed it, applied it to an offboarding package, and tested it within about 5 minutes. So that I think shows the value of having these automations and how quickly you can apply it and start running it right away. Um, whether you need to or not, it's just a quick way you can test it as well. And then if you want to, you can still copy to a sandbox environment and customize it a bit there as well if you need to. Do we want to run through another one?
We do want to run through another one. We still have some time.
Yeah.
Now, that's the tricky part. All three of the other ones got the same amount of votes. So, Chad, dealer's choice. Which one would you like to go through?
I think the reset local password I get asked quite a bit. I can speak on the other two if they don't want to see that one. But let's go ahead and do the reset local password. So this is going to be for the workstation. It happens a lot, especially you might it's useful for those partners that have a semi-hybrid setup that um, don't sometimes they have a local account only for the machine and they have 365 for their apps and such. So this can help you just reset that password for just that machine. So again, we're going to click save. If you want, we can read the description, but we've already got the pack installed. So then we'll click configure again to select the clients we want to apply it to. Click save there to apply. And then we'll go ahead and click configure. So this is it's where we can add a little bit more functionality. So if anybody's familiar with the onboarding and offboarding package configuration, this is very similar to that. So this is giving additional options. So we can send a text message if we want to, what that password is going to be. We can force that password to reset the next login. And then this is going to pull from the setup for your client as well. So equals global admin is going to pull from the wet graph API setup, and then the password options are going to pull from what you have in the password sections on the global configuration. So we'll click save and close, and then again, click install. And now we can run this one directly. So this is not an extension automation. This is just a full automation. So I'll click close, and then we'll click there we go. Reset local user password. Now this one again, I will expect it to error out because I don't actually have a workstation to reset, but I'll select what we have. And just like that, we installed it and we started using it right away. That I think I've always wanted to speak to the simplicity of how we can get you guys adding a custom automation and start using it immediately. So I can select the Pia admin and I can go ahead and reset that password to whatever this is. Click go. And that's it. 30 seconds. We were able to install that within under a minute and run the package and reset the password in under a minute. So I'd probably say we probably spent about a minute in total time doing that. So I mean that I think again
Nice.
speaks to the power of getting what you need applied and running it right away. You could have feasibly received the ticket, didn't have this automation, jumped to the automation hub, added it, and then ran it right afterwards within the same amount of time. We want to do another one.
We may have time to do another one. I do want to be able to make time to talk through some of the different types. Besides the four that we put in the poll today, what other types of automations can our partners expect to see in the Automation Hub, or rather, PIA packs in the
Um,
Automation Hub?
I will say the top two outside of the OneDrive archive that we did, the G Suite, staff onboarding and directory sharing are huge. I don't have an environment to test this on. However, it comes across a lot. I know a lot of MSPs deal with schools and nonprofits, and they heavily rely on the G Suite products. So this is where, as we develop more, this is where they're going to live, and you can quickly apply it again, connect it to your workspace, and then start onboarding those new users immediately, the same way I just showed you. That's going to be a huge one. I like the retrieve workstation on server event logs because I've spent a lot of my time in my help desk career doing workstation issues. So if I could get any information without actually having to engage the customer, I'm all for it. I'm all for because sometimes and I'm sure if someone's going to laugh that we can't see, but sometimes it takes longer to get them connected to a remote session than it does to actually resolve the issue. And I would much rather submit the resolution than have to deal with that back and forth. Um, Another one here for the ConnectWise users is the clone ConnectWise ticket. I think this one has a high amount of value. This is especially true when if you apply this to an onboarding that requires multiple steps. So you can have Pia create a clone of the ticket, have one of the tickets create the new user in 365 or Active Directory, and then the other ticket can continue on with what of the other onboarding steps that you can run in parallel before the user is actually created. So it's going to be for more some of those complicated setups, you can have those run parallel to each other, so you're crushing it in real time instead of waiting for one portion and handing it over or waiting until that's completed so you can do the next step.
We have a couple of questions, Chad.
Sure.
One, can you send a message to validate user identity before resetting the password?
You can absolutely. You can. So we have out of the box, we have a identity challenger for Duo and Microsoft Authenticator, and I believe I want to say we have one here as well. Um, so we can challenge for 365 and Duo. So these are extension automations. So what you can do is you can add these to the onboarding package or the password reset package, and then it could send that challenger to that user directly. And once they confirm, you can carry on with the package as well. Now, when it comes to like smart forms, if you're doing it that way, smart forms a little bit different. I mean, you'd want to have a point of contact to handle that kind of stuff. But absolutely, you can totally do that.
Awesome. And we have they're trickling in, so I'm going to ask you some more, Chad.
Yeah, hit me
Uh,
with it.
can, in reference to what you were doing before that last question, can that clone project tickets or just service tickets?
Just service tickets currently.
Okay,
The API does not currently have access to the project tickets. And generally, you wouldn't do the automation of the project tickets because that's not going to be more for like a break fix. Projects are going to be more time oriented, right? The duration is going to be longer. So, um, but who knows? Maybe in the future.
nice. And then one around OneDrive. When archiving OneDrive files, is there a limit to the number or size of total files that can be removed or that can be moved?
I not that I think that Pia has anything. I don't know off the top of my head. I have to check if there's a restriction on the Microsoft side of things. But I want to say no instinctively, but I will double check that and get back. Can you get that person's name and we can get back to him with that?
Absolutely. Um, all right, before we get to some of these other questions, there is one last note I wanted to make on Automation Hub. Well, what's next? Are there new automations or enhancements on the roadmap?
They are. We're going to be dumping all of our custom automations that we build are going to be put in here. One of my colleagues, Tom, he does a great job building these out, and he's going to be adding those. So just stay tuned because more are going to be dropped. I mean, this 25 now, but the plan is to just have this full, so that you can just go in there, search for what you need, apply it without having to be super technical.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to this question. Auto task coming soon from Matthew.
And and
Do could
what capacity would we be talking about?
Yeah, could you be a little bit more specific? We are compatible with Autotask. I know we showed an example in ConnectWise, but we are.
Oh, to take a duplication. Oh, that's a good question. I didn't see it there. I think by default this is probably a request from a ConnectWise user, but honestly, I don't see why we wouldn't apply that to AutoTask and Halo as well. It's something I can definitely inquire if that's something that you're interested in.
Cool. All right, I'm going to move the OneDrive file away. All right. Maybe we can't ask this question. Maybe we can't ask this question yet, but I'll say it in front of everyone. But there are a lot of packages that work when Pia is installed on a workstation. Is it going to be easier to mass install the agent at some point?
I mean, it's for mass installing the agent. They typically integrate with your RMM tool to deploy the agent to your endpoints. Uh,
Yeah.
we have a script for that.
Yes,
Do
that
we? I
is
can't demo the 365 Challenger because I don't have the integration. I don't have access to that integration side of things. So it would just end up failing.
okay. Maybe Eleanor, I know we're going to be speaking sometime soon, so maybe we can address that on our next partner success meeting. All right. Well, cool. Um, there are questions that we'll get to more at the general Q&A segment, but now I think this is a great place to transition to our conversation around the attention and focus that we laid on our implementation process for new partners this past year. This is a really big priority for us, and if you've been a long-term partner, I hope that you've felt it within the past year. And I'd love to unpack more about what's changed and why it matters, why you should care about it. So, both Josh and Chad, why is the partner onboarding or implementation experience such a critical focus for us?
You want to
So,
start, Josh?
Chad, do you want me to
Yeah,
start
you
that
want to?
off?
Yeah, please.
All right. So, whenever you're implementing a new product, it's always good to have a proper focus. And we found that by better assisting or better handholding, we've been able to better facilitate our onboarding processes. So, give you like a general timeline of what to expect. We try to establish a timeline that supports 30 days to get your foundation set up within your business with using Pia, initial configuration and user training. Usually within 60 days now, we try to drive any missed opportunities as well as developing smart forms and setting up triage to start, development on custom packages, making sure that we're aligning PIA to your business. And then 90, by day 90, we're really at that point have a laser focus on opportunities that we can find within the adoption rate of PIA, right? Making sure that we're checking for any packages that may have been unturned or not utilized. And we found that by going this route or using this method, it's a more cohesive introduction of PIA into our partners' environments.
I would like to add to that from the product specialist perspective. I handle the onboarding as well. I want to make sure you guys are very successful in the product. I think it's a very exciting time that we're in, where we can focus more so on building community with your clients and then having the AI side of things handle the legwork for some of that low-hanging fruit. We want to provide that great service. So I want to make sure you guys are super successful. I want to show you, hold your hand along the way, to make sure that you understand what we're getting into, and it's not there to replace anybody. It's there to enhance people's work, and so they can be successful, so they can get up and go to work and not have to do password resets for 8 hours, right? No one wants to do that. No one wants to do onboardings all day. And we like to alleviate that. And then you can actually engage with your clients on a human level versus just like, let me put you on hold while I clank away on my mechanical keyboard to resolve the issue. We that I think is going to be a huge differentiator. And then, the onboarding process is important because it sets that foundation up for you to be successful. If you're successful, then we're successful. And I mean, we want to make it a win-win situation.
So both Chad, you just mentioned having a strong foundation. Joshua, you mentioned having a strong foundation being a major part of the first 30 days that we try to accomplish with you. Why is starting with a strong baseline configuration technically so critical for partners to focus on starting on day zero?
Well, it basically allows you to expand out Pia. And it allows you to be consistent across where your Pia in place. So for instance, your clients would all be configured to a baseline that matches your business expectations and needs. Um, in order for us to be successful and you to be successful, we have to make sure that we're focusing on what automations will actually provide value and also drive success of Pia inside of your environment. So again, that foundation just allows us to better understand those needs and facilitate a configuration that works.
I love it. That makes sense.
We
Um,
try. We like common
yeah,
sense here.
yeah. So speaking of, let's dig a little bit deeper. Chad, what does that baseline look like in practice? What are some of the key elements that we make sure are in place?
I think the very beginning, as soon as you start up with the project setup, I think one, understanding the scope of what you're trying to accomplish is going to be very key from the very beginning, because you want to make sure that you go in there with a clear understanding of what your goals are, and then we can align with that and meet you where you're at and get that set up. So, understanding like which clients you're going to set up, for example, who's going to get the most benefit at the beginning, because everybody wants to kind of jump in and set everything up right away, which is great. But at the same time, when I do the implementation, I want the first two or three clients we set up, you could start using day one, but I want you to set up where you feel like these clients are going to get the most use of you get the most return on it. So then when your team starts using it at that first day, you see the benefit of it. And then it that carries the project on further because now you're more engaged in what's going on. And that I think is the baseline set, understanding what your scope is. We work as fast as you, and we want to be on this journey the whole way with you. So if we understand what you want, we can be there with you the entire time and get everything set up.
Yeah, and something that, as a part of that, something that's very near and dear to my heart, Josh, how does the partner success manager role come into play here? We talk about holding your hand through implementation. What does that really mean during the onboarding process?
That's a fantastic question, and I feel I have a good answer for this. Um, so the goal of the partner success manager, obviously, I am one of those. I've been fortunate enough to be tasked this role, but it's really about making sure that you're never navigating onboarding alone. When we reference holding your hand, we mean we're supporting you through each step of onboarding. We're holding accountability for your team as well as taking accountability for our team. It is truly a shared success. That really is the core of a PSM. But we won't just hand you a checklist and walk away. We schedule regular touch points. We suggest either, weekly or bi-weekly recurring meetings just to make sure that the flow of your onboarding is going as expected. Your expectations are being reached. And essentially, in a way, we kind of become your resource quarterback. Our team is always working on new content and resources for our partners in those meetings with us. That is your front row seat to see what we have in the works. And then from day to day, we're there with you, and we're excited to be. Ultimately, we're here to make sure that you're not just live, but you're fully optimized and getting the most value out of Pia from day one. That's the goal. That's the dream.
Yeah, I love it. Um, what would you say during this whole process? What are the time frame goals or hours-ish needed from the partner side and from our side to get the most out of onboarding? What should we expect?
So I'll kind of revisit back onto the timeline. This is relatively standard, and of course, every partner might have a different situation, but in general, the trend is 30, 60, 90 as far as the day timeline is concerned. And again, that first 30 days, it's critical to establish that foundation, make sure that we've got Pia aligned to what your expectations are. so that as we start to further adapt and use Pia, we get a better reception of it moving into the rest of your business. The 60 days, we kind of go into some missed opportunities, such as like smart forms, developing smart forms, setting up triage, and even moving into custom packages as needed. But once we hit the 90-day mark, I would say that's just where at the point where our laser focus is on adoption or rate of adoption. And effectively, that just means the number of tickets that Pia is able to facilitate for you guys, right? Save you that time, give you that return on value.
I love it. That makes
Now,
sense. That's attainable. Yeah, go
as
ahead.
far as hours are concerned, I think Chad may be able to give a better real world example of how much time it may take, but it can vary. It can vary wildly from partner to partner.
Yeah.
I want to say our standard. I I wouldn't want to speak to that because I don't know exactly, but it's I don't know. Chad, what do you normally see for the amount of time or hours that are spent during that process?
For the onboarding, I mean, I hate to give a generic answer and say, again, like we work as fast as you and like, it really you put in what you get out. So,
But
I
we
mean,
do match them. That
yeah,
is mostly true.
and that's why I will go back to what I said is, understanding the scope of what you're trying to do is really going to dictate how much time it's going to take for you. Because, again, you don't want to necessarily start off with just throwing everything plus the kitchen sink at Pia and your clients. You might want to have a slow roll. Let's start with onboarding, offboarding, maybe just account lockouts for a specific client to see how it works. And as you get comfortable, I think you're going to start to speed up and get the setup done more exponentially as you
Oh
get
yeah.
more confident and see what it does. So I would say, yeah, the 30, 60, 90 is fine, but I, you're not going to have to put in as much as like a regular RPA, right? Because we have a lot of out of the box stuff. Our bread and butter is out of the box. You can start and hit the ground running. One of my colleagues, Michael Kennedy, he always says that, we give you the opportunity to crawl, walk, and sprint at your pace. So if you want to hit the ground, go full Usain Bolt and sprint, I will be there with you, and we'll run that whole 40-yard dash together as fast as we can to get you set up to what you need. So I know it's a kind of a generic answer, but the reality is you're going to get what you put in. And I mean, if you want to go as fast as if you want to go Ricky Bobby, we can go Ricky Bobby.
All right.
I love that
I think
crawl,
that's
walk,
perfect.
sprint
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think that covers onboarding and our implementation process pretty well. Again, I hope that y'all as partners are seeing that that walk, run, sprint option is what made us super excited to be a PIA partner. That's great. Again, this was a huge focus for us last year to really make this as good as possible. I mean, this office hours sprung up, so I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Sean. All right. Now that we've covered that, we've covered onboarding and how we're getting partners set up for success. Let's shift gears. We're right on time. Let's shift gears to something that's generating a lot of excitement, our new integration with Thread. All right. So let's
I
start
believe
off.
it's
Chad, can
yeah.
you start by giving us an overview of what this
Yes.
integration is and what it does?
Yes. So Thread, for those who don't know what Thread is, it is an AI that can handle some of the triage stuff, as well as communicate with your clients through various channels like Teams, Slack, and so on and so forth. So with our integration, let's say your client is communicating with Thread through Teams and says they have new user onboarding and they provide the information. So Thread will take that information, create the ticket as per usual, triage it however you have it set up. From there, that's where Pia picks up. So Pia is going to identify that, oh, there's a smart form for this, and then sends it over to Thread. Thread replies back to the client in Teams with a link or a button to access that smart form and fill out that smart form directly in that chat window with Thread. So that way you fill out the smart form and then submit it, and it acts no different to when you submit a smart form via the Pia portal. The automation kicks in and starts running. That's
Nice.
it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be showing y'all a snippet demo in just a bit to lay the foundation out a little bit more. Talking about foundation a lot. Call us construction. Why should partners care about this integration? What's the biggest benefit that they're going to notice right away with the integration between Pia and Thread if they are Pia and Thread partners?
You know, smart forms in and of itself is super powerful because the
Yeah.
self-help is fantastic. But now you have an AI communicating with your clients through a channel that's easy for them. So no more emails coming in. And it's one, we all know the forms kind of force the clients to submit the information we need to resolve a ticket because Lord knows if it's just by email, it's not going to have enough information. But now it's reading the ticket, it's classifying the ticket for you, and then it's also going to resolve it for you all within submitting it through that chat window. So not only your clients get to get that immediate service again right away, this it's again giving them the authority to create a priority one ticket, even though it's not a priority one ticket, because Pia starts working it right away. Everybody's happy. And even if it's a delayed type of ticket, like this user is going to start Monday, you can have it queued up, ready to go, and kind of set and forget because Pia is going to handle that automation. So huge time saver. You always want to put the onus for the data entry on your client and not on your text. So I think that in and of itself is going to be huge.
Nice. So as far as smart forms go, is it just out of the box that we have available, or can we use any
Any smart,
custom?
you can use custom smart forms. You can
Love
do
it.
out of the box. Is obviously they're ready to go, but you can fully customize it. And even if you customize it with extension points, extension automations, those will apply to that same form. So it would be no different. It's just they're filling out the form on the thread screen versus the Pia screen.
Yeah. Now the big question is what is this truly doing? Is it truly logging a ticket and taking action?
It is
Cool. All right.
100%.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, there's no smoke and mirrors here.
All right. Now we do have some questions. I see your questions coming in. We are going to get to them. Before we do, I think y'all are waiting for a demo. So, can we walk through a real world example or close to real world example?
So, yeah, I mean, so like I said before, so let's say, who was that who commented? We're going to use him as an example. Sean
Or
Mansell.
Mhm.
So let's say he's communicating with you, Alyssa, on you're his client, and you say, "Hey, I've got Josh starting on Friday, and I need to get him set up." So what's Thread will read that response, create that ticket, and it will ask you some follow-up questions, obviously, if you what information it's going to need to create that user. It'll create that ticket and then classify that ticket per the settings in Thread, and then Pia from there will signal to Thread that this is a a smart form that is configured with the intent is configured on the back end of Thread, and then Thread will give a prompt to click a button to access a smart form, and then Alyssa, you'd fill out that form. And then so from Sean's perspective, he doesn't even have to do anything at that point. He's going to let Thread talk to you, create the ticket, and have Pia do the automation. So where the rule of thumb for what we discuss usually is where Thread ends, Pia picks up. So we
Love
work hand
it.
in hand that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an appropriate time for us to see a snippet of what this would look like live.
Yes, and I can definitely show an example of what it would look like. The form in use is simply an example. I do want to be clear before we go to show this, but let me go ahead and share that now. And I want to make sure that you guys can see the browser window with the video. Maybe not. Hold on. I'm breaking things. Don't worry, we're good. I don't know how to use Zoom apparently. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Got it. Yes. Thank you, Josh.
Now, I could turn on closed caption. I'm not sure if the audio will come through. I'm not sure if everybody wants to have that or not. I can also leave it off. So I'll leave it off for now. If anybody
I would
wants to see.
I would suggest let's put on the audio just to kind of see. So as you can see, this is a thready over here. He's showing you what the background looks like on the thread side.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so I'll go ahead and start the video. If the sound doesn't come through, I do apologize in advance. It should, and here we go.
Let me give you a quick demo of our Thread and Pia integration. In our integration page in Thread, we have a new tab for Pia where you can configure the integration. And then if we go into our magic agents, in the triage agent here in the settings, we now have the ability within our catalog of intents. And intents are sort of steps that you want the AI agent to take, right? So for example, if you have an employee offboarding, you want the agent to ask certain names like the full name, email, date, things like that. So you can only define the agent side of the triage agent. Now, before we only had these conversational forms, but now you can also select a Pia smart form. So you can select that here, and you can select from the drop down any form that you have created in Pia here will be available in Thread as well. Now, how that would look in our chat is that when you start chatting with the AI agent, it will detect that you're requesting anything that needs this form, and then it will pull up this form. As you can see here, you can open the form within the chat, and you can fill out the details. You can also say, I would rather open it in a new tab. So just quickly go through the embedded experience here. You can also say, I want to open it up in a new tab and click here. But then here you can fill out the form like this, and then it will submit the form in closely. And you can see the agents mention, thank you for submitting the form. And then in inbox, we will share this as well. So you can see here how that will look like. The technician can always follow along and can see what form was requested. You can even open it up themselves, and you can see that also the form has been submitted. So that's a quick demo of how the Pia integration works within Thread.
Wonderful. Cool. I know that was kind of hard to hear.
Yes, it
So,
was.
so sorry about that, guys. But Chad, I know that you wanted to do the full circle. Chad's going to show you what this looks like for the client and for your technician on the Pia side as well. If you want to kind of recap what we just saw, just for those who maybe didn't hear it fully.
Uh, so, uh, so what you saw there was Thread. They showed how the thread communicates with the client and it populates the smart form. So obviously, what I'm showing you on my screen here, you guys can see the screen, right?
Yes.
All right. So obviously, the stuff on the left where it says smart form demo account like that, you wouldn't see that. What you saw that small window was after they click on that form, those that it pulls from the directory and gets the information or creates a ticket, and then it generates that form for you. That's that's what you would see, and then this complete form process would show up. So imagine if it was an account lockout, for example, and that's what they selected. So the end user then would get this form, select who the user is, and then click submit, and then that's okay. Uh, they would end up, here we go. They'll select the user, click submit, and then the same process. So just you'd get the ConnectWise ticket, AutoTask ticket, the Halo ticket, and then you'd end up pulling that ticket up yourself here. So I'll show you what it looks like now with a full automation because this has zero touch mode turned on. So this is a good example of once the user submits account lockout, it's going to go ahead and run it. This is not the ticket that I just got, is it? It is. Okay, that just must have been an old ticket. So it's going ahead and running through, and once this is done, it's going to get fully automated. It's going to enter time on behalf of a tech and then close out the ticket. So when you couple with what Thread does with what we do, you again fully automate that. Now, if you think about it from the ConnectWise perspective of the status notification, if you create a generic status that says, user unlocked, for example, so you can, and then have that send out a notification, you can have Pia run the packet. So Thread creates the ticket, it classifies the ticket. Your client submit your client's waiting for the answer. Pia runs through the package, enters time. We have a 15-minute time entry here, and then closes out the ticket that says, that's a user unlocked, and ConnectWise sends that notification out. You've created the full closed loop process of you not having to engage with this type of ticket ever again. fully automated from creation to completion and pulling time off the agreement.
Beautiful.
It is a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you guys. Okay, we are 1 minute behind, so I'm going to go ahead and get through the rest. We've covered Automation Hub. We've covered our onboarding enhancements that we made in 2025, and we've covered the upcoming thread integration. Now we're going to get to your questions. Drop them in the Q&A panel if you can. That's the easiest for me to keep track of, and we'll tackle as many as we can before we wrap up. I also, for those of you who registered and asked your questions ahead of time, we tried to get to some of those directly with you first, but I understand a few of them, a few of y'all registered today or yesterday, so we'll prioritize those as well as what's already in the chat. All right, you ready, guys? Let's see. Not completely related to this webinar, but when can we expect chat to be able to run on project tickets in ConnectWise Manage?
I'll have to follow up on that. I don't have any info on that, but I will if you get his name or her name,
Yep.
we'll follow up with that.
Okay. Any plans to run commands through the RMM rather than using an agent?
So, sort of. We are going to be with Platform 20, we're going to be opening up our API. And then with that, you can have our API or you can have it call out and do that with our API open. Currently, no, but once that's released, the short answer is no now, but very soon, yes.
Awesome. And I think that actually applies to the next question. Are there any plans to implement PAPI?
Yes, Platform 20.
There you go. Is there a plan to have automations to push software as an SOE package?
Define SOE, Pat. What's SOE?
Leo? Leo, you'll let us know and we'll get to that. I also wasn't sure. Okay. These are some of the questions that were asked during registration. Any automation hub plans for a smart form to add groups to users?
Add groups to users. We actually just discussed that yesterday in our dev meeting. So yes, there's plans. I don't know when. I think they're trying to work that out.
Mm-hmm. And definitely something to put into PI ideas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, Pia Ideas is the way. If anything that I said no to, absolutely go to Pia Ideas and submit it there. I know if you are ConnectWise users, you probably don't like that answer, but I promise you, our roadmaps are driven by Pia Ideas. Aaron, our CTO, won't allow us to enter ideas on there, even if you told us to. He wants it to come from an MSP. I want to say 25% of our new features that have been released have come from partner ideas.
Yeah, we definitely care about that feedback. Okay, I'm gonna get through a couple more. Which service desk KPIs tend to improve most with an integration like with what we're doing with Thread and Pia?
Should I say it one more time?
Which service desk KPIs tend to improve most with this
Uh,
integration, like the one with
uh,
Thread and Pia?
yeah, I'd say CSAT, SLA, uh, one touch close. Oh, there's another one.
Mean time to engineer, mean time
Yes,
to
mean time to engineer.
resolution.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. How can we use how can we use Pia to create a more consistent, scalable service experience for our clients?
Smart forms. I mean, the easy answer is 100% smart forms. I will die on that hill. It's not only because it can be fully automated. It allows a self-service, and look, everybody's ticket is the most important, right? So giving your clients the ability to submit that via smart form. Again, like I mentioned, I say this even during demos and during onboarding. You're giving that ability to create that priority one ticket because Pia starts working it right away. So it frees up not only your dispatcher's time, if you have a dispatcher, your text time, because ticket comes in, it automatically gets assigned to somebody, but Pia starts working it right away. Whether to completion or not, it's up to you, but at least it gets started. And that's ultimately what your clients want. They want to know what they submitted is being worked on immediately, whether it's emergency or not.
One of you asked for extension links for Chrome and Firefox. I will send that to you directly. Um, any other, so going back to what you were talking about around smart forms, any other smart forms on the horizon and out of the
Uh,
box?
Out of the box, stay tuned for that. I think any new ones that would come out of the box may end up in the automation hub, for you to apply.
Right.
So it would be more of a customized thing, but outside of that, I'm not aware of any.
And I got from Austin, what was this Pia Smart Forms and Thread integration already available? Um, I know that one of our partners had created a custom package to make this happen. So you would have seen that on our Discord channel, or on Threads circle group, but our Discord channel. You would have seen that there. We are going live with this more formal integration just now. Okay. Now I am getting to, those are all of the questions that were asked in registration and via chat before this. Let's go through this. Answer live. Done. Any other smartphones on the horizon? Done. Sorry if I missed the thread talk already, ran a bit late. Is there a possibility of software requests being further automated? For example, client requests Adobe Pro via thread. This triggers an approvals flow, and if the manager approves, Pia adds it to the Microsoft 365 group that auto provisions a license and begins the install.
So we don't have anything like that, but that can be built. So you can, if you make a custom smart form, you can apply that to the thread and then and have that done. That everything that you just described can be done via Pia. So it would just be a matter of creating that, and then just adding that as one of the intents as they showed us in the video.
Are there plans to make the Pia pod available in Thread's inbox interface for technicians to run automations?
Not that
So
I know of, but
yeah, I would say not that I know of for plans. However, there is a custom integration, custom package, how you want to phrase that. Again, one of our partners had created this themselves, and they've been pretty open about sharing it. So if you want to search this within our Discord group, I'm sure you can find the GitHub to it. Okay. Hi. Hi. What's the latest with the Ring Central integration?
I will have to follow up with you on that. Do not know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed the start of the webinar. Where can we get the recording from? If you're talking about this recording, it'll be sent to you in our follow-up emails, and it'll be live on our YouTube channel. Does your team have any suggestions regarding best way to present this to their clients to drive adoption of features like smart forms?
So, I mean, there are instances where I mean, we have a video where one of our partners developed their own little kind of advertisement showing, and they called it like, they didn't call it smart form. They labeled it something else, but it showed the value of using smart forms to get that meeting served. Now at this point, but they require all of their clients to go through smart forms. So as far as suggesting the best way, I think showing your clients, I think, is honestly the best way to do it. Showing them how them submitting it via smart form gets that immediate service without having to wait for the ticket to be assigned and then waiting for that person who's assigned to get to that ticket because they might be working on something that's a bit more critical and taking more time. Um, it'd be a hard thing for someone to see how fast they can unlock an account or do a password reset or even schedule the offboarding and not see a benefit from that. But if you do need assistance with that, I believe you can reach out to us, and we can see other resources or connect you to other some of our other partners to assist on what they've done.
I'm also going to mention a couple of things regarding that. Every second month of the quarter, third week of the month, third Thursday, we're transitioning this once a month office hours into a two series event each month. So one is going to be a thought leadership segment like this, and then on the third Thursday of the month, you'll see this come through in some of our communications, is going to be a demo. So every first month is going to be AI triage. Every second is going to be smart firms, where we're going to be addressing these concepts and tactics with all of you live. And then third is going to be custom development. So did want to mention that, as well as you can work with us to create some marketing for your clients and utilize your account managers to push those out to your clients. Definitely talk about this with your partner success managers. And then, yes, that's it. Um, what are the most underused features of Pia that could significantly improve workflow efficiency?
Wow, that's a good question. That is a very good question. Oh, that's ah.
I'm so good at search twice.
Honestly, I would probably lean on dispatch rule, or I would say more of not dispatch rules, but AI auto start. I think that's where you have certain packages that meet a certain requirement based on their not a requirement, but they match a certain AI classification, and if it meets that and turned on, Pia will start running those packages automatically, not necessarily to completion, but to do some of the basic troubleshooting to get out of your hands, like the Windows 10 troubleshooting performance report, or PC performance report, the OneDrive issues and stuff like that. I think those get underutilized because I think people are unsure to kind of let Pia do its thing. Because but I think you get tremendous from a technician standpoint, you get tremendous results from that because it saves them so much time. If I didn't have to do all that initial research on what the issue is and something did the basic troubleshooting by the time I got to the ticket, I think that's going to save me a whole heap of time to where I can focus on the actual resolution. And maybe that basic steps resolve it. If not, at least those are out of the way and I can focus more on what I was taught in school and what I've been practicing on.
I would say time sensitivity is also a big factor with that as well, specifically, troubleshooting in those issues, catching it live as it's happening versus having to wait and review in the
Yeah.
past is that's a huge time saver. I think that's really where you get a lot of that time saving from is not having to go back and okay, what was the time of the issue? Okay, great. Now I have to check the logs. Now I have to,
Yeah.
it's already done.
It's
You
all
just
there.
come
Yeah.
right to the ticket. You're ready to work. So yeah, I agree with that.
I'm also going to plug our team because I am biased. Please, there is value in meeting regularly with your partner success manager, and that is one of the topics that we can review together. One of those is going to also be your champion board, so really focusing on your technicians to drive some of the adoption. So, had to say that as well. Shamelessly.
Message.
Awesome. Well, we are unfortunately at time. There are a lot more questions left still. I am going to let all of you know for the questions that we did not get to. Maybe Chad and Josh will type some answers to you as I'm speaking the wrap up. But we have taken note of every question that's been asked, and your partner success manager will reach out to you with an answer to drive the conversation around what you are wondering. Okay, so thank you all for joining today's office hours. I was really excited about this one. Pia's New Year update. We covered a lot: Automation Hub, our enhanced onboarding, and a sneak peek at the upcoming Pia Thread integration. If you're looking for more ways to stay connected, here is what's coming up. We have our next office hours on the 22nd. As I mentioned, that's going to be a demo. It's going to be the same group here, and we're going to dig into our ticket triaging. We're also going to go into PAX 8 sales kickoff January 28th to 30th. And then we have two new things for you guys coming up. One is going to be a Pia Press. So we're starting a partner newsletter, and that's going to be coming to you the last Friday of every month. And that's going to be full of different resources for you to use. Really excited about that. That's been a little bit of a passion project for us. And then lastly is March Madness. If you are in the United States And if you like college basketball, we're going to be doing March Madness this year. So keep an eye out for more information on this come March, as well as a mention of it in our Pia Press. So if you plan to attend any of these, let us know. You can reach out to your dedicated partner success manager. And if you just want to reach out to our group, I put our distro in the chat there. And if you haven't already, I made a nod to it earlier. We all made nods to it earlier. Our Discord community, I went ahead and put the link in the chat as well. You can share your ideas, stay up to date on what we're doing, and chat directly with other partners, as well as our dev team, our product team. Link is in the chat. And then finally, please keep an eye out for the short survey after this session. Please be candid. Again, if you've been with us since our first session in August, you'll notice that we have implemented your survey feedback into these sessions. We're doing this for you all. So I read all of them, we review them as a team. So please do that. And with that said, thanks again for spending time with us today. We look forward to seeing you at our upcoming events in our Discord community at our next office hours. And we will be addressing anything that we didn't get to live on the call today with you directly. Thank you so much, you guys. Take
Thanks,
care.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.